Hi, I'm Elizabeth Doherty Thomas.
And I'm Bill Doherty.
We're co-founders of the Doherty Relationship Institute. So in this video, we assume you have decided discernment counseling would work, your spouse or partner is on board, and now you're curious, what in the heck is this phone screen about, and what should I do to be prepared for it? So that's what we're going to talk about.
Yeah. Well, the phone screen purpose is to make sure that this is a good fit. Okay, the discernment counseling is a good fit. That's the main purpose. The second purpose is to give the discernment counselor a sense of what's going on and some of your dynamics. Okay, in terms of the of that main goal of is it a good fit, you can expect just some basic information: how long you've been married and kids and so on. And then you can be expected to ask what's going on, why you think discernment counseling would be a good fit given what's happened in your relationship. And then you can just describe, your sense briefly of the challenges you've faced. The discernment counselor is going to want to know if you're leaning in or leaning out of the marriage, because discernment counseling is for a situation where you have somebody leaning in, wants to preserve it, wants to get help for it, and somebody's leaning out. They are really not sure that this help is going to be useful, and they're certainly leaning towards divorce, but they have not made a final decision. So let me pause there. The discernment counselor is going to want to make sure that the leaning out person has not made a final decision. If that person has said, divorce is definitely it, there's no way I'm changing my mind, discernment counseling is not the way to go. Okay, because it assumes that there's some discerning. It assumes that even if you're 90% sure, there's 10% you're willing to take another look at it. So that's an important one. It's just not set up for a situation where somebody comes in to help their spouse accept their final decision. Okay. And it also assumes that there's somebody who is motivated to want to preserve the marriage, okay, and would like to ultimately do couples therapy. If you have both people completely on the brink, it also is not a good fit. And so think about where you are in terms of your leaning and leaning out. Doesn't mean you're fully either way, but it means you got a direction. Okay, you all things considered, you'd rather preserve this relationship, make it better, but you're sort of leaning the other way, but you're not completely decided. So that's a big one that the discernment counselor needs to find out. And then the discernment counselor will describe what the discernment counseling is about, its goals. You've read about it, but you need to hear from a human being. Describe the structure so you know exactly what you're getting into in terms of the times, how many minutes in the sessions, what they're going to look like. So, and making it clear it's not therapy, it's discernment. So there's that piece of it. And then also making sure that you're both freely choosing this, and that there is neither of you is at risk for violence or coercion. So freely choosing, it's got to be nobody's under threat, going to lose the kids if you don't do this. That would be a rule out. And then there'll be some questions, standard questions about what's happened in your marriage in terms of times that may have happened when either of you hit each other or caused physical harm, with the key thing there being, is anybody in danger at the moment? So it's not that it's a rule out for discernment counseling if you've ever had hitting or violence. The main discernment that the counselor is going to do is, are you both freely doing this, and is anybody at risk? Is anybody in danger? Because we certainly don't want to do that. So that's what it looks like. And what you'd come out of it with is with this decision, and we're all on board here. It's the right service for you guys, and then let's proceed. The big reason we do this is we don't want people showing up for a first session of discernment counseling, which is an unusual service, right? It's not therapy. It's not couples therapy. It's not individual therapy, although most of the time is spent with each of you individuals. So it's oriented not to change anything now, but to be clear and to understand. So it's a very unusual service. And we've learned that people need an orientation about that, and the therapist, the discernment counselor, needs to know this is exactly what's appropriate right at the moment. So that's what's involved in the intake.
Yeah. So if you haven't already, go to discernmentcounselors.com, where you'll see a lot of our therapists, and they will work with you on the next steps and help you along this process.